No one noticed the envelope was missing until it was too late. What started as a simple favor for a colleague ended with me questioning everything I thought I knew about trust, loyalty, and the true cost of ambition. Marcus Chen was just a mid-level software engineer who brought the same turkey sandwich to work every Tuesday until the day he started wearing a watch worth more than his annual salary. I should know, I sat 3 cubicles away from him for 2 years, watching him type code with the same methodical precision he used for everything else in his predictable life. The office smelled like burnt coffee and broken dreams, but there was something different that morning. The air felt charged, like the moment before a thunderstorm breaks. Marcus kept glancing at his phone, tapping his fingers against his desk in a rhythm that didn't match his usual calm demeanor. That's when I noticed the man in the expensive suit standing by the elevator. He wasn't one of our executives. I knew them all by sight. This guy had the kind of presence that made you look twice, then quickly look away. Silver hair, sharp eyes, and a smile that promised everything while revealing nothing. I watched as Marcus stood up, straightened his tie, and walked over to him. They spoke for maybe 30 seconds. The stranger handed Marcus something small, a business card maybe, and then he was gone, disappearing into the elevator like smoke. Marcus returned to his desk, but he wasn't the same person who'd left it. His hands shook slightly as he opened his laptop. The turkey sandwich sat untouched until evening. Then Marcus did the one thing he swore he'd never do. He accessed the executive server after hours. I know because I was working late that night, debugging a stubborn piece of code, when I heard his keycard beep at the security door. It was past 11 p.m. Marcus never stayed past 6. I peeked over my monitor and watched him slip into the restricted area, where the senior developers kept the proprietary algorithms, the company's crown jewels. 20 minutes later, he emerged with a small USB drive clutched in his palm. The next morning, Marcus called in sick, then sick again. By the 3rd day, rumors started circulating. Some claimed it was just a family emergency, but I knew something didn't add up. Marcus lived alone, had no family photos on his desk, never mentioned relatives or friends. His sick days coincided perfectly with an unusual surge in network activity on the executive servers. Then there was the matter of his new car, a sleek black BMW that appeared in the parking lot the week he returned to work. When I casually asked about it, Marcus just smiled and said he'd come into some money. But his smile didn't reach his eyes, and his hands trembled when he thought no one was looking. The atmosphere in the office began to shift. People whispered in small groups. Conversation stopped when Marcus walked by, and our department head started asking pointed questions about data security protocols. Everyone felt it, the tension, the suspicion, the sense that something fundamental had changed. The USB drive had a hidden partition, and it proved everything I suspected was true. I discovered this 3 weeks later, when Marcus made a mistake that changed everything. He'd been acting increasingly paranoid, looking over his shoulder, jumping at unexpected sounds. One evening, as I was leaving the office, I found him frantically searching through his desk drawers, papers scattered everywhere, his usually organized workspace in complete chaos. "Looking for something?" I asked. He spun around, face pale. "My backup drive. I can't find it." That's when I saw it, half hidden under a stack of printouts near my own desk. The small black USB drive must have fallen when he'd hurried past earlier. I picked it up, meaning to return it, but something in his expression stopped me. Pure terror. "Marcus, what's going on?" He grabbed the drive from my hands, but it was too late. I'd already glimpsed the file names on the screen when he'd plugged it in seconds before snatching it away. Financial records, client databases, source code for our most sensitive projects. "You don't understand," he whispered. I didn't have a choice. That's when he told me about the man in the suit. Richard Blackwood, not his real name. Marcus was sure of that. A corporate headhunter, he'd claimed, representing a major tech company interested in acquiring talent and, coincidentally, certain technical specifications that might help them stay competitive in the market. The offer was simple: $200,000 for a few files. Corporate espionage wrapped in the language of opportunity, and Marcus, drowning in student loans and credit card debt, had seen it as a lifeline. But there was more to the story. What happened next would take months to uncover, and it started with a phone call that came at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Marcus answered with shaking hands. I know because he called me immediately afterward, his voice barely a whisper. They want more, he said, and they know where I live. The hidden partition contained more than stolen files. It held correspondence that revealed the true scope of the operation. Blackwood wasn't just buying information. He was building a network. Marcus was one of dozens of employees across multiple companies, all feeding data to the same mysterious organization. But Marcus had started to dig deeper, trying to understand who he was really working for. What he discovered made him physically sick. The stolen information wasn't being sold to competitors. It was being used to manipulate stock prices, insider trading on a massive scale. Every file he'd handed over had contributed to a scheme worth millions. The worst part, Blackwood had recordings of every transaction, every meeting, every moment of weakness. Marcus was trapped, bound to keep providing information, or face criminal charges for corporate espionage. I tried to stop, Marcus told me during our last conversation. I went to his office. The address on the business card led to a high-rise downtown. But when I got there, the suite was empty. No furniture, no signs anyone had ever been there, like he'd never existed. Marcus started leaving work earlier each day, his productivity plummeting. He'd sit at his desk, staring at his screen, but I could tell he wasn't really there. His mind was somewhere else, probably calculating how deep the hole had become. Then one morning, Marcus didn't show up to work. His apartment was empty, lease terminated, no forwarding address. The only thing left behind was a note in his handwriting. Some prices are too high to pay. Security footage from his building showed him leaving with a single suitcase at 2 a.m., 3 days before anyone noticed he was gone. No one saw which direction he went. The BMW was found in a long-term parking garage at the airport, but there was no record of Marcus boarding any flights. In the end, Marcus learned that desperation makes us vulnerable to people who prey on our weaknesses. But whether he escaped or became another casualty still haunts everyone who knew him. Our company quietly upgraded its security systems, implemented new protocols, and never spoke publicly about the breach. The official story was that Marcus had accepted a position with another firm, but I knew better. I'd seen the fear in his eyes, the way he jumped at shadows, the gradual erosion of the decent men I'd worked alongside for 2 years. Whatever Blackwood's organization was, they were professionals at identifying and exploiting people like Marcus. Smart enough to be useful, desperate enough to be compromised. 6 months later, I received an unmarked envelope at my home address. Inside was a business card with an elegant design and a phone number. No name, no company, just an address to the same downtown high-rise where Marcus had found empty offices. On the back, someone had written in neat handwriting, "We know you were close to Marcus. We know you have questions. We have answers and opportunities." Was Marcus actually a victim of circumstances, manipulated by professionals who knew exactly how to exploit his financial desperation? Had he discovered something so damaging about the organization that he had to disappear for his own safety? Or was there something darker? Had Marcus been more willing participant than victim, and his disappearance was simply the next phase of a larger plan? The most troubling theory is one that keeps me awake at night, that Marcus never really disappeared at all. That somewhere under a different name, he's still working for Blackwood's network, having crossed a line so definitively that there's no way back to his old life. I still work at the same company, in the same cubicle 3 spaces away from where Marcus used to sit. Sometimes I catch myself looking over at his empty desk, wondering if he's out there somewhere, living with the consequences of that one desperate decision. The business card is still in my desk drawer at home. I haven't called the number, but I haven't thrown it away either. Part of me wants to know what happened to Marcus, what the organization really is, why they chose him, and why they might be choosing me. But every time I consider making that call, I remember the fear in Marcus's eyes during those final weeks, the way he jumped at every unexpected sound, the hollow look of a man who'd realized too late that some deals come with prices you can never finish paying. So, what do you think happened to Marcus? Was he a victim? who got in too deep, or did he willingly cross ethical lines for money? Could he have found a way to escape the network that trapped him, or is he still out there, living under a false identity and helping them target new recruits? And here's the question that really keeps me wondering. If you received that same business card, that same offer of easy money for seemingly harmless information, would you be strong enough to walk away? Or would desperation, ambition, or simple curiosity make you pick up the phone? Share your theory below. I read every comment, and honestly, I'm hoping someone out there might have insights that help me finally understand what really happened to my former colleague. Because until I know for sure, I'll always wonder if Marcus found freedom on the other side of his disappearance, or if he simply traded one prison for another.